You're watching the Tesla Life live with your host, Mark Coughlin.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Tesla Life number 298. Here we are on the 15th of March. It's the Ides of March, isn't it? Yeah,
it is.
The Ides of March. Watch out, people. Watch out, people carrying knives. Stay away from them. But yeah, it's great to have you all here. We've got an extra co-host. We've got Moto. That's just getting used to the headphone, obviously, because she's grasping it, just twisting things, making sure she can hear properly. Very good, very good. Also with Moto, our regular co-host, Mr. Casey Green, joins us. How are you today, sir?
Doing pretty well. Day started out just a touch above freezing, and then it got up to about 60 Fahrenheit. Now it's going down again.
Man, I'd love to be at 60. That's a great temperature to be at. 60 Fred, that's wonderful. Also joining us as normal, Mr. Patrick Connor from the West Coast. How are you today, sir?
Hello, and since we won't be doing a show on Friday, happy St. Patrick's Day to everybody out there.
That's right. That's right.
Wear a little green, have a little Guinness. It should be a fun time. I know that a lot of the country... the greens don't get pinched. That's true, yes. I know that a lot of the country here in the U.S. is that there's a bunch of snow in the east. There's flooding in California, but we're having a beautiful day here. So, and I'm not going to apologize for it. I'm sorry for what you guys are going through, but we've made 27 kilowatt hours of solar today, and we are feeding the grid right now. It's awesome.
That's a great way to be. Absolutely. We had a little bit of a warm spell. We got above the 0 Celsius temperature. In fact, it was so warm here, Patrick, that I washed my car in +3 weather. Outside, hand wash, +3.
Getting a jump. We got to keep it nice and shiny.
Got to keep it shiny, man. Nothing like a shiny car in the middle of winter. It's great. It's great when you can do it. With that, let's get on with the show. We got a bunch of news, and Casey's going to start us off with our top story today.
Yeah, so I've got a little photo here. Let me put it up on the screen there, and we'll talk about something we've already introduced you to, but now it's for real. This is the Scandinavian, which was the Netherlands.
Netherlands, yeah.
So it's in the Netherlands. It's a V4 supercharger site, and it is open now. Like, you can charge on it. And as we saw from all the spot shots and the predictions from the technical sketches, they have longer cable, and the cable routes down around underneath the white portion of the post here, and plugs in the side, very much like we saw on the semi chargers, but slightly smaller. So this will definitely help out with the Magic Dock installs, as far as having them reach, like on the F-150 and a couple of the others that have weird placements. I say weird in the sense of, coming to a Tesla station. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, so, you can say that on this show. We all know what you mean.
Right.
If it's not where Teslas are, that's weird.
Exactly, at the Tesla station. And as we saw during the the semi-truck launch, these are going to be 1,000 volts and up to a megawatt. Clearly no current Tesla use of that, so I'm curious to see the first one of these equipped with a actually, we don't need a Magic Dock because this is Europe, so I'd be curious to see the first one of these that's open to everybody. Get one of them 800 volt cars on it and see if it cures their 150 kilowatt problem that they've been having here in the States. Tesla overdrives the cables and the posts and everything for Tesla cars, but they stick straight to what it says on the side of the cabinet when it comes to a non-Tesla vehicle. So the most they've been able to get at a V3 station is 150, and well, I guess they're all V3s right now, but the most they've been able to get is 150. So
kind of interesting that they've now kind of standardized the look of these chargers. So we have the urban chargers that are slightly smaller than this and skinnier. Yeah. And then, of course, we have the Tesla Semi Mega Charger, that is taller and a little bit wider than this. So
right,
they've got 3 flavors that look almost the same, except in size.
They all look the same. It's just small, medium, and large.
Yeah,
right.
It's like
right.
T-shirt sizing.
The semi being taller is you get even more cable, so they can they don't have to be as precise with their maneuvers on that.
Exactly. And of course, a few people have already charged at this because it just opened this afternoon, and a few people have reported that it's only giving out the current speed of a V3 charger. So it's not going above and beyond what a V3 would currently do. And that, of course, most likely is because Tesla is just testing it out. Like as Casey said, it's probably designed to do more, but they're not ready to give more yet. They just want to make sure that it's charging normally. Everything is happening as they expect before they push limits beyond what people are used to.
And they might not have even installed all the modules to make it go beyond 250 yet, because again, there's no Tesla that can use it in Europe right now. So unless they are going to put like a third price tier, or they're going to have enough non-Tesla customers over there, then you can save the money on those guts and make the site 4 times as big. And then later on, when you release the models, then populate the rest of the slots.
Yeah, and I'm sure they're putting a few modules. Yeah, I'm sure they're putting a few out that have the new hardware just to test it. But you're right, for cost reasons at this point, maybe they're not upgrading them all yet. Maybe they just have the old guts in some of those. It'll be interesting to see how this plays out.
Yeah. Breaknet wants to know how we pronounce semi or semi.
Semi or semi?
I pronounce it with an I. So semi.
I pronounce it.
Actually, I've probably done it both ways. But
yeah.
What's more natural to you guys?
The I.
Semi.
Semi.
Or in this case, it's mega charger. So that's how I pronounce
it. Yes, indeed. So another thing that was mentioned is that non-Teslas will be able to charge at this site, just not right at this moment. So they're going to be adding that functionality, but right now it's strictly Teslas at this location in the Netherlands, and they say that soon anybody will be able to charge at this site. So that's good to see that. And then of course, if they take this new design into North America, they're going to have to incorporate the Magic Dock somehow into the side of it as well. So I don't see that being a problem. I just be interested to know when the next V4 goes into North America, or the first that would be. Not sure where that's going to be. We had that.
Well,
we had that thought it might be
anyway.
in Quartz. There was the thought about Quartzville, Arizona, something like that.
Quartz Lake.
Quartz Lake, yeah.
So the other thing I'm noticing here is the way it goes in on the side. Like you could actually hide the Magic Dock in it without having it appear any different, like you do on the V3s.
Yeah. Right.
You got the same motion, push in to grab it, and then you just pull out all of that assembly.
Right. And then the other thing is that the cable is definitely liquid cooled. This longer new cable is liquid cooled as well. So it's a thinner than than the normal V2s.
Yeah, they wouldn't be able to put a V2 cable on it even with the extra length, because when you look at the specs for the NACS, it would be out of spec very quickly. So they'd have to ramp down the charge within seconds. So without liquid cooling it, they wouldn't be very mega.
For the first 3 seconds, it's awesome. After that, not so much.
Right?
Next, let's go on to this note from Adam Jones, who is Adam Jones? He is
Jonas.
Jonas is always on the calls asking
Adam Jonas of Morgan Stanley.
Questions.
Yes. So Adam is a analyst of sorts, and he created a bit of a stir because he indicates that the Cybertruck, he believes, will be just a cult classic vehicle. It's just going to be basically for the fanboys, that there's not going to be a lot of uptake on this vehicle, which I find kind of surprising. Just,
Me too.
Because of the certainly the number of orders that we now believe is over 1 million. Again, it's only $100 deposit. I understand that. That's going to certainly whittle down, but you got to whittle down a lot from 1 million to get to a point where this is not as successful as what I believe we're gearing up for here. But
the only way I see that happening is if we have a worldwide economy crash combined with a bad launch. Like say they fail on the road, or they catch fire, or some other non characteristic launch that we expect from this company.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised that he has this stance. He's been generally bullish about Tesla. I think he was one of the first analysts to see it. I mean, a lot of retail investors saw it way before any of the analysts. But I think if you listen to the calls even from several years ago, he was asking much better questions. And I thought, got it better than this. Now, I absolutely think he's wrong. I think the Cybertruck will be a huge success. But let's look at the things that yeah, it's going to be huge and a success. It's funny. Tesla has delayed it. And if they would have come out before Rivian, before the F-150 Lightning, these are things that would have helped establish that truck for sure. But now there are alternatives out there. A lot of people that had that $100 reservation have probably bought something else, but they're keeping the reservation. Just when it rolls out, maybe they'll see. So I can see some argument, but I still think he's wrong.
Yeah. I mean, like I was looking at some of the numbers on Sunday's show, and I think Ford was talking about how they were guiding for 50,000-ish Mustang Mach-E's and a similar number of the Lightning trucks, about 80,000. Those kind of numbers would not do well for Tesla. So
yeah, so I mean, Tesla's low volume vehicles, the X and the S, are 70, 80,000. So in a good year, 100,000. So for Ford talking about their volume products to not even meet Tesla's highest end luxury products is pretty sad.
Right, and then the other benefit to this is now that they've let everybody else come out except the Chevy, maybe even the Chevy by then. They have been able to kind of see what the customers like and don't like and benchmark them against their own truck. So they don't have to go through and redesign and retool. They can actually just put it all out before the customer even gets a hold of it. And I think somebody was kind of pegging at Elon, like, hey, what are you going to do now? What do you think? And I don't know if it was Tom Zhu or Franz that also got, hey, they asked, hey, what do you like about the F-150 and what do you think that they've got over you? And he said, we've got everything.
Yeah, so it's I guess time's going to tell, but Tesla is certainly gearing up for this to be a success. I think that this unique truck is going to take the market by storm. I look at all the other Tesla products and how they're runaway successes, how they're this, of course, a lot of people were not necessarily okay with the design at the beginning, but I've also noticed that a lot of people have switched over time. Like they've had time to think about it. They've had time to look at the angles and look at these test trucks on the streets. And a lot of people, even in my neck of the woods, have put in orders for these things and are intent on getting it. So, and this is going to be anybody that owns a business that uses this truck, it's going to be a magnet because it's going to be so unique looking. You slap on some sort of a logo on the side of it or do a wrap and this thing is going to stand out like there's no tomorrow. It's going to be a billboard for your company. So I can definitely see that happening out of the box. So
attention getting for sure.
Absolutely. So I remember when the Model 3 came out and the attention that it got, and it's kind of incognito. It was even blending in with other cars in some ways. But you put a Cybertruck on the road with a stainless steel exterior, like you would not be able to hide that. Like that's going to stick out like a sore thumb. People are just going to be drawn to it.
Yeah.
Breaknet
Trent.
That's the logo.
Exactly.
Yeah, that would be interesting. Have it sandblasted into the stainless.
There's already a company that apparently has set up a computer sandblaster to basically tattoo your Cybertruck.
I love that phrasing. That's awesome.
And that's they're using a laser
Check out my tat
to tattoo it. So that's going to be interesting to see. But that's just one of the variations that will come. Certainly, a lot of people will even be able to apply their own wrap to a truck with straight angles, because it's a lot easier to apply a wrap to this vehicle because there's nothing to bend around. Like you're just putting it on straight and slightly bent surfaces.
There's no chrome or logos to worry about.
Way easier.
The one thing I think that will continue to hurt them until they change their minds is the single motor. So many truck owners only need a single motor, particularly fleets, and unless they come out with eventually lower the price to match that single motor price, then they'll take a free dual motor. But that will mean that some of those places can only buy one or two instead of 4 or 6 of them.
Yeah,
depending on their budget.
But it also means you won't see one stuck in some dirt getting towed out by some a Ford.
Right, that's true.
You'll have all-wheel drive.
Well, that kind of dovetails into our next story, and that is about some of the rumors that have come out from people that saw the pre-production beta Cybertruck at Investor Day, and some of the things that we were able to actually see in the photographs, such as the I guess it's the non-yoke steering wheel, which of course is more like a rectangle.
Okay, woke.
The woke steering wheel.
And of course, the truck is about 5% smaller, which we've been hearing that number back and forth, and that may attributed to why the center seat in the front seems to have been removed.
That also could 18-inch screen right in front of the passenger.
Could be a safety thing that the screen is there, and the screen is larger, right? It's more than a 17-inch; it's 18 plus inches. So that's something that is interesting. That it's the truck has received the largest screen of all. No other binnacle display in the beta version. But that's kind of interesting. And of course, the 48-volt architecture for the truck, for the electronic system. And Tesla indicating that they're going to fire up a group internally, already have, that's going to work on accessories. Since 48-volt will be brand new to everybody, they're going to have to lead the charge when it comes to some accessories because nobody else is prepared for it. So that's another thing with the truck. One other thing that was mentioned
with that though is that when you look at all the other trucks, look at how many accessories they all have and how much money is dumped into accessories. They would be foolish to leave that on the table.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And then another thing of interest is the motor. We've heard about the quad motor that's supposedly coming. A number of people believe it won't be coming in the launch edition. They believe it's going to stick to the tri motor. Basically using some of the components that come from the Plaid X and the S. They believe that it would be a lot easier to start with 3 motors and just use that same architecture they're already familiar with. Using some of the same parts and I guess overall assembly processes that they're already set upon in Fremont for the X and the S. So that's some other information. The The tires, of course, we've got those monster, 35-inch tires.
Oh man.
With
18-inch
the
wheels.
now patent awarded hubcaps that come with it. And
I know you want some for that back wall there, Mark.
yeah, exactly. I'm looking for those. Absolutely. Got to get me a set of those, even if I don't own a truck.
Right.
But,
and the interesting thing about that patent is they applied for that pretty much right when we had the unveiling, and it took this long to get approved.
This long, yeah, to get that patent cleared. Another bit of information is that there is these 35-inch tires that they show on the truck. That, of course, will not be the only tire. There's going to be a street version of the tire, which will be smaller. Of course, we have seen this on the truck previously with maybe the same rims as opposed to what's under those hubcaps. Just like the Model 3 has a interesting, great-looking rim that's underneath its hubcap, the Cybertruck may have the same. I'm guessing it does, based on what Tesla does with their rims.
Yeah, we did see one picture of it without that cap, and it was a little bit like the 3, but it was more of a tree. They kind of branched out instead of just all being spokes from the center.
Yeah,
it was really cool looking. I don't know if that's what's going to be in production, but it looked kind of neat.
One thing I'm not sure about is on the off-road tires, or the AT tires, I should say. They when they're turned like real hard, you can see that they've actually got a progressive pattern to them. Like you got a street tire on the inside. Well, actually, they've got a highway ring on the inside, and they've got a street tire in the middle, and then the AT on the outside. Versus some of the street tires we saw them in that were just pure street tires all the way around. I'm wondering if they're testing everything on one tire, or if that's going to be their kind of like hybrid tire that they've got invented just for the truck. So it gets better fuel economy, but can still go off road, can still tow, and be a real truck.
Right, range matters. So that if they can come up with a tire that lets them get the range and do the off-roading, that's awesome.
Especially as it goes up and down in height, like that will change like which part of the tread has got the majority there. So this will be awesome if they do a hybrid tire.
Yeah.
And for those interested in knowing how big the actual Cybertruck is, one other thing, the all-wheel steering apparently is going to be standard across the board. So that'll be a plus for people that are in the urban environments, certainly being able to. It's
also a good thing for everybody who handles the truck, so you don't end up with them getting smushed in the delivery lots or at the service centers. Because if you've got the one guy who doesn't have the all-wheel steering, and then the service tech tries to whip a corner that the truck should be able to make but can't because the wheels are locked out.
Oh, yeah. If some of them have it and some of them don't, that would be difficult. It's like, oh, this one behaves different.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then another piece of information is that overall, the size of the truck is comparable to a Ford Raptor pickup. It's slightly smaller than the Ford Raptor, but yet more usable space on the inside. So it's
less than 2 inches in every direction, except the bed is 6 inches longer on the Cybertruck because they didn't do that fist design that all the other trucks have had forever.
Yeah. And there were some that noticed that in the beta version at Investor Day, they were having difficulty recognizing the tailgate extension that we saw on the initial announcement of the truck, how it lowered the shocks and the tailgate rolled out further so a ATV could drive in the back. Some weren't convinced that the beta had the tailgate option on it, and some thought it was there.
It had cuts in the plastic on the tip of the tailgate, like the long edge, the end-on edge when it's down. So either they've put the cuts in the plastic and didn't put it on there, or it's there and they just never have extended it in public.
And one other piece of information, about the light bar that we saw in the original truck across the roof. Well, apparently
that was really cool.
It's going to be changed to amber lights because the truck is of a certain size that it has to have amber lights on it because of its width.
At the
So when you
unveiling,
see
Elon,
some of the other, if you see a Ford F-250 or 350, some of those
yeah,
trucks are required to have the amber lights on top. So I heard that is something that they're looking for. Nobody saw it in the beta,
right.
but that's something that they believe the
Well,
DOT is going to require.
the beta doesn't even have a light bar, so it'd be kind of hard to turn it on. But
Mhm.
that was actually something that Elon said would happen at the unveil, is that or during the brainstorming session, is that it would be white when you're off road for extra fog light, and then when you're on road, you would get the indicator lights.
Oh, that's a
And
cool way to do it.
yeah, and then Mr. Dunnigan Ryan, during his interview with Tom Zhu, said that for sure the amber lights are coming, but they didn't say no white lights. But I don't know if we're going to get the fog light without the accessories team.
Yeah. So that'll be something to watch for. Then Hockey Day makes a good suggestion about snow plowing. I know the Ford currently, the Ford F-150 Lightning is unable to put a snow plow on the front of the vehicle.
Oh, the electric one, yeah.
The electric one has no place to hook that up, so it can be connected to some sort of frame. I'm hoping the Cybertruck saw this as an option that they have some place to put it. That would be good because, of course, pickup trucks are used as plows all the time, and a business that has that ability would be a big plus. And of course, I can see all sorts of crazy angular plows being made right now to stick on the front of this thing.
CyberPlow.
Exactly.
That would be the name of your business. You can put it on the side of your truck. CyberPlow. 1-800-CyberPlow. Call
exactly.
now.
The other thing with that, aside from the missed opportunity, is you've already got a Model Y plow. So, I mean, you have to do that one in reverse. So it's like for your own driveway, basically. But it would look really bad if the Model Y can do it in accessory mode and the official truck can't do it as a real plow.
Well, what's exciting here is that this truck isn't that far away. We should start being able to see these. Here we are in mid-March. I'm guessing that we could hopefully see some of these test things driving around by summer. So here it comes. We're not far. We're only a few months away from that. So definitely going to be keeping our eyes on things. Oh, one other thing to mention is that some believe that there's a plan to put 2170s in the Cybertruck if the 4680s are not quite ready for prime time, or will not be enough of them for prime time. And I don't know if that makes any sense after we saw some advancements of the 4680s recently, but apparently Tesla has a plan B which means, of course, which is a good thing because they want to get this thing rolled out. Delays are done. They want it to be out and starting to roll. So, and again, I wouldn't be too concerned about getting a Cybertruck if it had 2170s or 4680s. Really, you've got, Tesla's going to put the amount of batteries in required to get the mileage they promised. So I wouldn't be too concerned about that if I was one of the early order holders.
The only thing I see stopping them from putting 2170s in is that they would make the stuff to do a structural pack on a 2170 and then not have any use for it once they figure out whatever was holding them up with 4680s. And they've been stockpiling those for months, so I don't put a lot of stock in that, but that is definitely something that could happen. We've seen them slipstream and change on the fly many times. Another thing that came up is all the people who were poo-pooing nuts. It's got all those angles. It's steel. It's not going to crash well. Blah blah blah. This is from a company that's always advertised safety before all the cool stuff. Yeah. And then at the end they say it's electric. So what they did is already the steel bumpers are plastic. So done. Plus, obviously, the stuff that we can't see that's under the skin, and we noticed that they reconfigured the hood. It looks like it'll open in one piece, like the Ford Lightning does. Some people say it won't, but when you're looking at the cuts in the body, there's no way that it's not going to be that way. I mean, they could change it, but there's no way that the beta, if it has an opening frunk, because they did head fake us with the
And
semi.
I have to say, kudos to Ford for making that change in their front, because it is extremely functional, and it makes a lot of sense for anyone owning the truck to not have to lift things as far. So it makes complete sense, and hopefully Tesla follows that lead.
And the drain plug.
Yeah, and the drain plug. Absolutely.
That was another great move they made.
And then they've got a drain plug in the back of the Tesla, so maybe the front will have it too.
Yeah.
We just haven't seen a front open on this thing yet.
Okay, switching gears. Let's go to Patrick.
Wait. Before we leave Cybertruck, do we have guesses on the date when the first non-employee will get one? Have we done that already?
We do not have a guess on that.
I think we should.
So
we got it. That's our thing here. We do guessing games.
So
we got to have one rolling.
I think the first sales will be by the end of August, and I say the delivery party will be, or at least the deliveries to real customers, whether or not they have the party or not. I think that will be just in time for the end of December.
End of December.
Wow! So you're going right to the last day of the year.
Wow!
That's the move right there. Oh, let's have a party! Happy New Year!
Well, why don't I put this out to the group watching this? Put in your votes below, and let us know what date you believe the first non-Tesla employee will get their hands on a Cybertruck. So Breaknet is already at September the 1st. Casey's December 31st. And maybe we'll review some of those next week on the show.
Yeah.
So
and then
everyone can think about it a little bit, and we'll get our votes actually written in.
Okay.
Cool.
First purchase by the end of August. First sale to customer by the end of the year.
Why do you always try to do 2 dates? You never play it straight. You're like, about production and sale.
Patrick, Casey would do 4 dates if he could. So
I'm being reasonable here.
Let's move on to the Powerwall, the Patrick story is going to tell us about.
That is right. So you all know that I love Powerwalls. It has made having solar so much more fun. And I was at the opening of the show talking about how it's nice and sunny here. This is the best time of year because it's still cool. We're not running the air conditioning yet. So all this solar, the first thing, so we are on a time of use. And so in the morning from 6 a.m. to 8 a.m., we get charged higher rates for electricity. So the Powerwall comes on, powers our home during that time. Then the sun comes out, starts taking that over, and then refills the Powerwall, which then gets us ready for the evening, which from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m., we're again charged a higher rate. But because it charged up during the day, it can cover that. So having a Powerwall is awesome. And for us, we got our solar in 2015, but we didn't get the Powerwall until 2020. And there was a while where you could not do that. So Tesla stopped selling Powerwalls standalone in April of 21. And they said that if you wanted a Powerwall, you had to get it with solar. So you could only buy it as a package. And well, that is just ended. So if you already have solar, or if you just really want a Powerwall, you can now order one.
Powerwall.
Yeah, exactly. If you had one and you realized, hey, this isn't enough, I need 3.
I don't have room for more
this
panels.
Is your chance. Right. Yeah. One gets you a lot of benefit, but if you have 2 or 3 or 4 or 6, then that's just more time that you can be off grid. That's more storage that you can take. The load capability stacks. So if you have 1, you can't run your whole house maybe. But with 3, you can run your air conditioner and everything. So
dryer all at the same time.
Exactly. Yeah. And the other cool thing about Tesla's Powerwall, which most home batteries, not all of them, are AC coupled. So that means that you can use it with any inverter. You don't have to have Tesla's solar on your roof. You could have any, and it just AC connects, which gives you the best compatibility. There's arguably a little bit of loss because you're converting from. It starts off as DC on your panels, goes to an inverter, gets made into AC, then goes to the battery as AC, which then has a rectifier to convert it to DC to charge the batteries, and that whole thing gets reversed when you come back out. But the power electronics conversion is so much more efficient than it used to be. So that's not that big a deal. And the fact that it gives them this wide compatibility, I think, makes it worth it. So that's the short version of the story. If you want a Powerwall, and this is your chance to get one. And who knows how long this chance will last.
That's for sure. You do also have the Powerwall Plus, where the Powerwall is your inverter for your solar system and the house. So that one does stay DC until it needs to change.
That's true.
For those interested in the price, $9,200 for a single.
It was next.
Or you can buy 3 for $25,000.
Which is down from the astronomical price it drifted up to, because when these things came out, they were $5,000 and then $7,000, and then wow. Now they're back down to something reasonable.
Right. Yeah. There was a while where Teslas were the cheapest, and now they're one of the more expensive ones. And it makes sense. They can use pricing to adjust demand, right? So when they were not able to make enough of them, when they had just like the car, exactly. And you know that they're watching all of these things and making price adjustments as they need to.
Which is why we're saying, if you want this and if the price is right for you, get in line, because watch, they'll change their minds again.
And just saying is looking for links. Don't have any links for you right now, but
Tesla.com/Powerwall.
There you go. Or just Google it and it'll come up quite easily.
For my zip code that wanted me to get in line. So I don't know if it's nationwide they want to get in line, or if it's just because of where I am. They're not really allowed to sell cars here, so screw us.
Next, up to the Great White North, or Canada, as I like to say, we've hit a milestone here in Canada where we've now reached 200 superchargers that are either built, in construction, or under permit. So we've got 182 that are built. We've got 12 that have been 11 that are under construction, and 7 under permit. So that's 200 total altogether. So that's great to hear, considering that we didn't start as quickly as the US did. They were added in a large chunk as they filled the Trans-Canada Highway. But now we're filling out a number of different areas in the prairies, the west coast, of course, central Ontario, and pushing over to Quebec, and even the eastern coast as well. So we see this continuing, just like we see in the United States and other parts of the world. So fantastic to see more and more of these sites coming online, and great to see that it's just continuing, which is wonderful to see. We've got the map linked in the show notes if you want to check out supercharger.info, supercharge.info. It is available on that website, and you can check out your local area and see what is under construction or permitted or already there.
Yeah, I'm just scrolling through the list for Canada, and it's construction, permit, open, permit, construction. There's a lot of construction going on in Canada. I guess you start now.
It's only 11. There's only 11 that are under construction. That's it. Canada-wide.
All right. What am I looking at wrong here? Maybe it's
permit versus
dates?
construction?
No. So, I mean, this one says 160th BC, and this one's in Alberta. There's 2. Then there's another one in BC. There's a whole bunch of under construction.
If you go to the charts area.
Oh, okay. I'm looking at changes.
Yeah. Go to the charts area.
Okay.
And then scroll down to, you can see there's Canada as one of the countries. It's actually the third largest amount of superchargers is for Canada. And you can hover over the bar graph, and it will tell you what is built, what's under construction, what is permitted.
Okay, cool. Awesome.
There
More
you
the
go.
merrier.
Exactly. Now, here's an interesting story from Buford, Georgia, recently.
Buford.
Buford. Okay. So in Buford, Georgia, there were some criminals that decided they were going to knock over an electronics store. and they were going to go in and steal a number of things since it was the middle of the night. They felt they could get away with it. So they smashed their way in. They grabbed the product they want. They threw it in their car. And then they drove to their local supercharger about 12 miles away from the robbery and started to charge the car because, of course, these criminals had not charged up their Tesla before they did their robbery. And that gave the police plenty of time to look at the cameras in the store and what direction they were heading and call out onto the radio for other patrol cars to be on the look for a certain color Tesla. And sure enough, an officer drove by the supercharger local and saw them charging up, pulled in, parked in front of them, and arrested a lot of them. So that was quite the robbery planning. I'm glad the criminals are stupid in many ways, so it helps on the keeping them in line. But man, what a bunch of dimwits! Like unbelievable that you would rob a store and then decide, well, I'll just go down to the local supercharger on my way out of town and I'll charge there.
It's like having an alibi with a timestamp on your receipt. So when this first came out, they didn't actually call out Tesla, which amazed me. I assumed it was a Tesla because it was in Atlanta or near Atlanta, but so I took it as that they were going for the anti-EV angle of it because they wanted to say, see, these things can't survive a cold. You can't even get out of a robbery without having to charge the damn thing.
That is not one that I've seen on the FUD list. These are not good for robberies.
Not good for robberies.
Right? So with that, I was thinking that, all right, probably is a Tesla. It turns out it is. I was also thinking that maybe the car itself was stolen because unless they don't have charging at home, it should have already been charged.
I would like to think that it was stolen.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it was or not, but I'm just going to assume that because it makes me feel better.
Because I mean, we know that the criminals aren't the brightest usually, but I mean, that takes another level of just lack of planning.
Maybe they were, there's the Tesla stretch, and then they're stealing to make your payments.
Oh man, you can't make this stuff up, really. But yeah, that was kind of interesting. Casey's got our next story, and it's about Tesla and California and actually refusing money from the state.
Yeah, so the state had a program, and they were going to give Tesla $6.4 million to build 3 superchargers of 50 to 100 stalls each. And Tesla said, "Nah, we don't want to do this. Your terms are too difficult to comply with." So turned out that some of the terms included having a screen and payment terminal on each parking spot, rather than like you have with a parking meter these days in most of the cities where they actually have a central location and you just go and you pay there, and it's a lot cheaper to implement. But California wants it on each stall. And when you look at all of the non-Tesla chargers, what is most broken on them? The screen and the payment terminal.
Card readers.
Yeah, the card readers, and then after that, whether the thing actually communicates with your car, and if somebody's tried to steal the copper. But those aren't the fault of the the communication is, but the copper thieves is not. So the screen either gets washed out or burnt out in the sun and the heat, and then the terminal, the card readers. I mean, it's not really necessary when you've got the app. But I understand what California is saying that not everybody's got a smartphone, which would be fine if there was a island like, hey, for these 10 state superchargers or all of the superchargers, you can activate your system, park in front of it, say, open up 25B, 25D, or whatever, and start me off. I've got a Chevy Bolt. It's going to be a while, and here's my card. But no, California wants that to be on each direct terminal, not just a central reporting. As well as when we first heard of them formulating this, they were saying how they wanted to have all their stations, whether they were in this program or not, they wanted all their stations to have a meter, like a gas pump, on them. It looks like they backed off from that, but not from ones getting this money. So Tesla said, $6.4 million, that's nothing. We don't need it, and kept on going. And they probably still build the stations anyway, but they're going to build them to Supercharger spec, not to California spec.
That's the other thing is the locations that were identified will probably still get them, but maybe they won't be quite as many, or maybe there won't be 50% magic dock. There could be a number of changes to it because Tesla's just going to build it to their spec, as Casey has mentioned, because it's too difficult. It's not worth their time to make those drastic modifications to every stall. So they're just not going to do
3
it.
stations. Yeah, like out of the whole world, we need 3 stations that are just janky. So no, we're not going to do it.
Yeah.
Right. Who has the best charging experience out there? It's Tesla. So why would
Everybody
they want
agrees.
to modify it?
Except for the price.
Yeah.
Right.
It doesn't make sense. Although, how many people don't have a smartphone that own an electric car?
There are some. Or
Right.
if your phone
And
is
if
dead,
you-
but I mean, an electric car, your phone, you got a big battery, your phone shouldn't be dead.
Right. Or maybe you can't get a signal. So that's why you have a kiosk that they can go to. And 'cause you mentioned parking. That's exactly how it is downtown Portland here. They have one in the middle of the block, and there's a number. You go in, or they have an app. You can go to Parking Kitty, it's called. And and so you don't even have to go to the kiosk. But they have it for people who don't have a phone. But they don't have one at every single stall on the block.
Right, and they used to do that on parking meters. There used to be one at each space, but that was because
when
they
you
used
put
to
in
take
coins
quarters and dimes.
Yeah,
and then when they switched from that, they started to relax that. Like, all right, we'll retrofit the payments onto each one because that's what the customers are used to. And then they're like, you want how much to install poles with screens on them? Heck no. And then they centralized it, and because the government doesn't have that much money to just burn.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of interesting that they would allow it for their own parking meters, but it's not good enough for Tesla.
Right.
So it'll be interesting to see how this goes because, of course, we know the federal government petitioned Tesla directly to start building superchargers to allow others to charge at them. California, of course, the place in the world that has the most electric vehicle per capita. They should understand more than anybody, especially more than someone in Indiana or Mississippi, as to how the supercharger network works and how it's been so successful and why can't they follow the same circumstances that have made it successful. So it's not
even Florida understood how to get them in an emergency, although they're trying to pass a law that you can't, but that's a whole nother issue. They're like, hey, we've got the pre-wired, we've got the plugs, so you can bring in the trailers. They knew everything about how superchargers work. Come on, California, you can do better than this.
Yep.
Well, we'll see what happens there, but as we suspect, probably those superchargers will be built anyways, just as mentioned to Tesla spec.
Yeah. So I mentioned that we now have a Chevy Spark EV in the family.
Yep.
And I got a call at midnight. Dad, I don't have enough charge to make it home.
Oh.
And so I went and helped, and there was a McDonald's that had I don't want to say the name because I'm going to start bashing on them, but it wasn't a Tesla. And
was it CCS?
I got it J1772. So
it was a level two, and that was because we didn't need to charge much. So I get there, I've got the app. Start. Nope, it fails. Oh, your credit card is expired. Okay, put in my new credit card information. Still doesn't work. I call them and they say, okay, let's confirm your credit card. Okay, it should work now. Okay, thanks, bye. Still doesn't work. What? Oh. And then there's an option where you can type in a code because the reader wasn't working. And I was like, okay, I'll take a code. And it gives me a 4-digit code. So I go to type it in. Well, the kiosk there is expecting a 5-digit code. I'm like, well, it only gave me a 4-digit code. What I call again, and they say, oh, we're sorry. Here, I'll run a code for you. And then they gave me the code, and then I put it in, and finally it worked. So it took, pulling out the app, updating my information in the app, calling them twice,
and finally we got it to work. And this was at midnight. I didn't want to be. I had sleep to do.
Right.
Oh man! And then on top
Yes.
of it, you have to wait.
And this
for
is
the
what
charge,
California
so-
wants with the supercharger.
Exactly, but this meets California's requirements. Come on, really?
Oh man, that's interesting. Next story we're going to touch upon is Casey's got what's going on with version 11 of FSD.
Yeah, so there was another tweet from Elon yesterday, and he said V11 starts going wide this weekend.
Oh,
Now we know that Elon can't read a timepiece to save his life, be like a watch or calendar, or even a yearly
Right.
calendar.
Right.
But shoot, even a decade-long calendar, for that matter, FSD. He didn't say it on Saturday evening, rolling into Sunday like he did last time. So I suspect that we'll see the safest drivers, the ones that don't already have it. We will start to see some of them get it. Actually, this weekend, like by 3 a.m. Monday, because that's how Elon considers a weekend. The next thing I might expect to see is those of us who actually had to do the safety score and hold it for 3 months as an actual safest driver. So we might see it. Or, again, this is Tesla and Elon. We might just see, 25 to 75,000 downloads hit by Monday at 3 a.m. And
it will be interesting. You usually get things about 4 or 5 days before I do, so it'll be interesting to see if that holds true.
Yes.
This
so
time.
Also, don't hold your breath again, because Elon said it, as well as there's still a chance that something will be discovered as they're doing the push.
Right.
And if that happens, they won't necessarily tell us. Sometimes they do. Usually they just pause it, and then you're just left wondering, like, hey, I stayed up for 3 a.m. so I could push the button. Where's my daggum Elon? Or was it the Joker says, where's my daggum electric car, Bruce?
Yeah, don't stay up till 3 a.m. Assuming you're
just
going to get it.
Just follow the Tesla Life on Twitter or Facebook, and we
you
do
go.
the updates so you can see what actually happened.
Right.
Don't bother staying up to 2 a.m. trying to figure out what's going on. Or you can just go over to the local McDonald's and join Patrick and help him get his Spark running again. So if you're in the Portland area.
Take out.
So one thing you want to look out for with this is you're getting the recall, which makes your Tesla on FSD follow the punch list that NHTSA sent to Tesla.
Yes.
As well as single stack. So it will use the FSD city streets logic on the highway. Obviously different set of parameters, but your car won't do that weird transition like it's Jacqueline Hyde, like it's Bruce Banner and then the Hulk just changing. And my car always wiggles the steering wheel when it does it too. It's like, can't you just drive straight while you change personalities?
Yes.
Can't you drive straight while you're thinking?
Right.
I can't wait to get it, because there's two things that the current version I have does that are really weird and that I don't like. One of them is there's a spot where it merges from 2 lanes down to 1. And if I'm in the left lane when that happens, I'm backwards here. If I'm in the left lane, so for you guys, it tries to switch lanes just like 20 feet before the merge, which is just silly. I mean, why are you doing that? Just don't stay in your lane. And
Mine says
merge.
right turn ahead, then gets in the left lane.
Yeah, exactly.
Left turn ahead, gets in the right lane.
Yes, the lane thing is weird, and I hope they fix that. And the other one is this one weird curve on the street that it thinks there's a stop sign in the middle of the road consistently. As it goes around this corner, out of nowhere, this red line flashes across in front, and it goes beep, 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 and then I just drive through it. But it's consistent in that one spot that it has this phantom braking. And I'm not sure what it is about that spot, but I'm hoping that as many times as I hit the camera button when I had it there to send them that they've finally have that one worked out. So I will
I know what they're
let
doing.
you all know.
A Tesla control, they're going, look at this. The guy who adjusts the passenger lumbar is sending us in photos every time of the same thing. Way to go,
The other
Patrick.
thing-
I
Yes.
keep my lumbar support going every second day, too.
That's right. Yes.
The other thing that we'll see here is on a non-legacy car for sure, but maybe on the legacy cars, when you make a correction, the car will ask you why, and then you can answer
Yes.
with your voice. You know, hey, the merge is coming up at 20 feet, jackbutt. And or you could say, hey, you know, the light was yellow and I knew it was going to change to red, so I stopped. Or I saw a sale on donuts and I had to get the donuts.
Right. Yeah. I do
Yeah,
like
so-
that. Not being able to we haven't been able to report stuff for a while, and so they're giving that back to us, and I think that
with
really
nuance.
yes. Now we'll be able to tell them why we think that they're not doing the right thing in this spot, or we can just say, I just felt like
the way it
driving.
felt. Or
Yeah.
yeah. We're not sure if that includes auto park and what Elon calls ASS, which is actually smart summon, ASS. I'm surprised that none of the safest drivers have told us this yet. I haven't seen any videos or tweets regarding those two features, so we can assume they're probably not in there. But that would be one of you guys. If you get it before me, try it out. Let me know. I'm curious.
All right.
Yeah.
Let us know. Tweet at us.
Very
Yes,
good.
please.
Very good. Next, Patrick's going to tell us another supercharging story, this time about pricing.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yes. Let's
Actually,
see
I
where
got a
that
photo
story
I can add to
Okay.
people.
Yeah. Tesla expands supercharger pricing, now varies by hour of day. So they've done some tests with this, and now they're expanding it. And we've seen in the past where they've done things like during holidays at off-peak, they'll have free charging. Well, this isn't free charging, but it does have time of day pricing to encourage people to spread out. By having it from 4 a.m. to 8 a.m., it's cheaper than it is from 8 a.m. to midnight. So during the day, the prices are higher. And from midnight to 8 a.m., the prices are lower. And if you're charging from midnight to 4 a.m., in this example here they have for Florida, it's only 14 cents per kilowatt hour compared to 39 cents per kilowatt hour during prime time during the day. So less than half the price if you charge at the most off-peak time. And if you're someone who has to supercharge because maybe you live in an apartment where you can't plug it in your garage and this is what you're doing all the time, this is going to save you some money. And okay, yeah, you have to do it at midnight. And I was just complaining about charging at midnight. But still, if you get there at 7 a.m. and charge on your way to work, that's going to be a little cheaper than charging during the day. Or if you're a night owl and you can go there and watch a movie from midnight to 1 and then go home and go to bed or whatever. So not that it takes that long to supercharge. But anyway, I think this is a smart program. We know that more and more people are buying Teslas. The supercharger network is being built out as fast as they can, but it looks like sales are still going a little faster than supercharger builds. And so anything they can do to help alleviate congestion, I'm all for, and I think this is a smart idea.
I think this is a better presentation than what they had before, if you don't mind bringing that back up, Mark. Previously, they would have they had the same graph, but that graph was representing how busy they predict the station will be, and then the bright bar is the current time. But previously above this or below this, there was a table with the charts and the speeds and how long and when and blah, blah, blah. And it was factual, but this is more visual. It's like, hey, you know, I'm here now. This is how much I should expect to pay. Oh, if I come back a little later, like if you're near that 12 a.m. bar, I might just go and grab some to go before I come back and supercharge.
I wonder if this type of information will be at some point available on the app as well.
I think it is on the app if you click in. I can't tell because mine never has a price.
And I think for people who don't have Teslas that are going to start using the Tesla networks, they need to include all of this kind of information in the app.
Yeah,
absolutely. I'm going in the app now just to see.
So if it's not there now, I bet you it's coming soon.
Right.
And then there are places like in Canada where they cannot charge by the kilowatt hours. They have to charge by time.
We just got that change, Patrick. It was just.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. so
Awesome.
they can now charge per kilowatt hour. So that's a change that no one has implemented it yet, because it just changed, I believe, 2 weeks ago or a week and a half ago. So it's coming now. So that's good.
All right,
Yeah.
so for the non-Tesla supercharger option, I'm getting prices in the app. My car isn't even showing me the nearest chargers right now, because why would it want to?
It doesn't know where you are.
You know exactly where I am. It just like I wanted to show me stuff.
You're incognito, Casey. Come on.
You're not sharing your location.
Location unknown.
They know where I am. They know where the car is. I bet you when we move on to the next story, it'll pop in with some prices there or something.
Okay, well, let's move on to the last story of the night, and that is Supercharger average charge times have dropped by 30% over the past 5 years.
Yeah.
And of course, this is great news for those of us who are looking to get a charge and get in and out quickly. This is something that Tesla has been tracking and, of course, trying to improve ever since they started to see large lineups at certain superchargers for Thanksgiving or other locations that were receiving a lot of throughput for vehicles coming in for charging. And Tesla basically defines the way they've been able to achieve this by 6 different pieces. One, the transition to mostly V3 superchargers. So the new V3s going in were faster than the V2s, and it gave people a slightly quicker charge as time went along. The other plus is that, or the other thing affecting this was the efficient route planning with the trip planner in the car. So the car was able to tell people that this one was filling up, you should probably skip it and go to the next one, or stop one before it. So as Tesla was looking at traffic and people on trips, it was more effective as to aiming you at a supercharger that there was less of a wait. So that was another part of it. The third item they indicated was that of course the supercharger new stalls, expanded stalls, and new locations altogether on the same route have been added. So the density of superchargers has increased, therefore the weight has decreased. Vehicle efficiency, another big plus, because of course, if you're not burning the kilowatts, you don't need to charge them. So the efficiency of the vehicle plans into this as well. People driving these vehicles get typically the highest efficiency in any electric vehicle available in the market today, and that allows them to skip or prolong charging, skip a charger here and there because they still have juice in the battery to go further. And of course, another thing is the preheating of the battery. As we approach a Tesla supercharger that the car knows we're stopping at, the battery goes into heating mode, which heats it up to an optimal temperature, which allows it to take a charge faster. So you are able to pull in a charge quicker when the battery is at a proper temperature, which Tesla tries to regulate as you approach that supercharger. And the final point, customer education. So explaining to people how the charging works, and even tips when you're at the supercharger, letting you know, for example, that this is a highly used supercharger and they would ask you to only charge to 80% so you can be on your way, even though they do allow you to stay longer if you want to. But that
strongly suggest by moving your bar. That's
right. You can move the bar if you want, but it's at least letting people know you're at a high occupancy site. And if you are able to, leave at 80% and help the line move quicker. So that's just one of the ways that education is being pushed out to the people that own the cars.
One thing they didn't say is, the Model 3 ramp really did help with this, because the Model 3 was able to charge faster than the legacy cars. And then the newer S and X's, the refreshes, not the Ravens, which were faster than the legacies, the older legacies anyway. That also helped, because the law of averages, like if all your cars can charge at 250 for a little bit, then that's going to bring your numbers up quick.
Exactly. Well, with that, let's move on to shout outs. Patrick, what do you got for us this evening?
I blog at carswithcords.net, and as always, I'm with the Oregon Electric Vehicle Association. You can find us at oeva.org, and if you're in Oregon and you want an EV, you should know that DEQ just announced that the Clean Vehicle Rebate program is running out of funds. So I think it's May 1st when they're going to shut it down.
Wow.
So yeah, it didn't even make it halfway through the year.
So if you're
there's a lot
fence
of people
sitting,
buying.
get off that fence.
Yeah. Last year they had I think it was 3.5 million surplus, which carried forward into this year. This year, no surplus. They used all they had allocated for the year and the bonus they had from last year, and we're not even halfway. So buy it quick.
Yeah,
Wow.
Get on that. Get on that. If you haven't already, please give us a thumbs up. Press that subscribe button. That helps us out and doesn't cost you anything. And we would really appreciate your help to push the YouTube into front of new eyes. So do that, and that can help us. Casey, what do you got for us for shout-outs?
So Tesla does know where the car is now, and they still won't show me charging unless I do the non-Tesla charger. I don't know if that's something they've moved in the menu, or for some reason it's just not popping for me because I'm looking for it.
Isn't that how it always goes?
Right. On Sundays, we do a chat that's similar to this, but kind of covers all of the green spectrum, including other manufacturers and greening your home and the rest of your life. And you can find that at youtube.com at Casey Green on Sundays at 1:10 Eastern. And we also help to bring out about Patrick's favorite future.
That's right. A future free from fossil fuels.
Got it. Got her in at the last moment. Very good.
Thanks for the prod, Casey.
Very good.
You're welcome.
Very good. If you want to get together with us next week, join us, and together we'll find out what's happening in the Tesla life next Wednesday. And we want to say thanks to Lee Moon for the music that we use every week. And we'll catch you next week, everyone.
And if you're not already subscribed. Let the YouTube system know that people that like what you like might like us. So, catch you around.
Stay positive. Test negative.
Electrify all the things. Catch you on the flip side.
Yeah.